2023 is now over, and I saw 11 new comic book movies that released this year, and I am here to rank them from the worst to the best. And coming in 11th place / last place, we have Merry Little Batman. And this is a movie where it is very much for kids, but I think one of the core problems actually with this movie is I actually like the idea, even if like it's very more for kids. There's not really much to enjoy unless you're really young. But I think the problem here, though, it is way too long for what I feel like this should be like a shorter film. It's an hour and a half, and I think this should have maybe been like 45 minutes to an hour. So a lot of it feels rushed. And with this one, Damien is in the lead. There's a lot of kid jokes. And I think that it could have worked to be something special, but I just don't really think it lived up to what it could have been. And like I said, it is just for kids. The animation, also, I just don't really dig the style. But it's just kind of bad. It just could have been better. And yeah. And coming in at 10th place, we have Shazam! Fury of the Gods. I actually thought that this movie was decent, but it was a massive step down from the first one. I mean, the villains aren't as memorable. And I mean, Billy is barely in it. It's mainly just Shazam. And I think that it's lacking the heart that it needed to make this movie great. I thought it was okay, but I really don't have any desire to watch it again. And it's a movie where I just think about it and I'm like, I liked the first one so much, so this one is just really disappointed in comparison. And the humor doesn't work as well. And it's unfortunate, even though I like the character of Shazam, I think he's cool, but like the villains aren't that interesting. And it just kind of failed, I think, to live up to the expectations, considering the first one was so good. Coming in 9th place, we have Blue Beetle. This is a very fun movie, and I think that what makes this movie good, at least, is the dynamic between Jaime and his family is just very nice. It's very just cool to see. And I think that where this movie fails is in its villain, as their villain is just not that interesting. It's kind of like follows the Iron Man formula, where it's powers are the same between the hero and the villain. And I think, though, this definitely has a lot going for it. I think Jaime is a really cool character. I think that there's a lot of fun to be had, but I just think that maybe like the characters just weren't as interesting, and the villains were just kind of bland. And I thought it was good, but I just think it could have been better. And coming in 8th place, we have The Flash. I don't know why this movie gets as much hate as it does. I think that there is still a lot to like here. I think that Barry is a fun character. I like seeing Michael Keaton's Batman, and I like Sasha Calle's Supergirl. I think that there's a lot going here, and yeah, I understand the CGI is atrocious, but I think that the central story is still just very endearing, as it's just Barry trying to save his mother. And it's kind of about the story about letting go and moving on. And I think that there is a lot to like about this movie, but yeah, I understand the cameos at the end are just bad, but it is a fun time, I think, to watch. And I understand why people have their problems with it 100%, but I still think that it's pretty solid. And coming in 7th place, we have Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. I mean, I still think that Aquaman, the first one, is my second favorite DCU movie next to James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. And this movie is still, it's not as good as the first one, but I still think that it's a blast to watch. Like, Arthur is just such a fun character, and Jason Momoa just has this charisma that is just so fun and infectious that like you could tell he's having fun, and that's just what makes it fun. It's just a buddy cop movie between him and Orm. Patrick Wilson is, of course, great as well. There's just a lot of fun to be had. Like, I know that people are disappointed this isn't how the DCEU is supposed to end, but I thought that for what it was a fun time at the movies. And coming in at 6th place, we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. I mean, I don't really have that much of a connection to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I watched the show, I believe, back in like early 2000. It was 2012, and I think I watched the movie from 2007. I think I watched the first Michael Bay movie, and I really liked the show as a kid. And going into this movie, it really just captures these are teenagers. They make dumb decisions, that they are fun, and they still like some of them. Their voice hasn't even changed. And it just captured this fun vibe throughout of it. And of course, the animation is awesome, as well as the villains are awesome with Superfly and all the teases they have. And this is just a really fun time. like, I like the animation, and the brothers, like, the 4 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they're just always fun to be around. My personal favorite has always been Mikey. But this is just a fun time in the movies with just awesome and unique animation, and it's just a fun time. And coming in 5th place, we have The Killer, and this is based on a French comic book. And this is a very unique movie, as it almost functions not necessarily as a silent film, but our main character, he narrates the movie, but he doesn't really speak out loud. And it's just a movie where it's very slow paced, and it slowly builds the tension. And there's this really only one, it's not an action movie, it's very much like a thriller, like intensity. And there's one action scene that's just awesome. And this is a movie that always kind of keeps you on your toes. You're worried for the person who's about to be killed, and you're even worried about the killer himself. And what makes him such an interesting character is you see him and I mean, this must be like a psychopath, but at the same time, he somehow comes across as charismatic in a way. And he's one of those people who's like, you want to learn more about him. See, I thought this movie was very good. I didn't think it was as good as everyone was saying, but I still think that this was a solid watch. And coming in 4th place, we have Extraction 2. I did not even know that this was based on a comic book. It's based on the comic book by Joe and Anthony Russo, the director of Infinity War and Endgame. And literally, this movie, that like 22-minute one take, if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about, is just so cool, where it's kind of movie, like the action is just so just in your face. It is feels so bombastic and huge, and just it feels like when you're watching it, it's just grand. And Chris Hemsworth is just awesome as Tyler. I didn't even see the first one. I haven't even seen the first one. But, hey, this second one is great. And I think this is just a really fun action movie that just keeps you entertained from start to finish. And it's a movie where you watch it, and you're like, this is just such a blast. The action is awesome and addicting. Chris Hemsworth is just awesome. And it's just awesome. Just like, I keep saying that word. That's just the best word to describe it. It's awesome. And even Tyler as a character, I mean, I don't really think he came across with that much personality, because his only goal is to like save like this girl or whatever in this family. But I don't care. It was just a blast. And coming in 3rd place, we have Nimona, which, yeah, this is also based on like an indie comic. And it's just an awesome time. Like, this shape-shifting girl who has to like protect this king after he was framed for murder. It's just so fun. And Nimona is just a character where I want to spend time with this character. She is just so fun to be around. She can shapeshift, and she's just a blast to be around. And she's got that charismatic energy, and it's very fast-paced. But it also has a great amount of comedy and action, but as well as this emotional center, where at the core of it, it's like about like these people who like, I feel like are almost uncomfortable and scared, where like the king is scared that like his spouse doesn't love him. And it's just a great time. The voice acting is incredible. The animation is so stylized and unique. It's just beautiful. It's just a really fun time. And yeah, 3rd best comic book movie of the year. And coming in 2nd place, we have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. This movie had the perfect amount of everything. I mean, emotion, just action, comedy. I mean, I love these characters, and I'm so sad to like see them go. And I think that's what James Gunn does so well. He takes these characters where you've never even heard of them, and then he makes you cry. And I think I cried a couple times watching this movie. This movie was just incredible from start to finish. The music was great. The acting was great, especially from Bradley Cooper's Rocket. It's a movie where I don't really have any major problems with. I do think that some of the CGI shots look a little bit poor, but I think for the most part, on a story level, this really worked for me. And yeah, this is my 2nd favorite comic book movie of the year. Fantastic action, fantastic comedy, beautiful visuals, and just beautiful characters and story. And coming in number 1, we have Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I mean, this movie was fantastic. Not only is it the best comic book movie of the year, but I think it is one of my favorite movies of the year. And it's a scene where every single frame is just gorgeous. The animation just has so much personality. Whether it's even snaps that just have the Colombian flag or Puerto Rican flag that just show like Miles' Hispanic heritage, as he's half Puerto Rican. And it's just the animation. And the whole like 20-minute opening is almost this mini story with Gwen. It's just beautiful. And the colors just work. It's fantastic. The villain is awesome. And like I said, it's filled with emotion just for everything, every character. If you love Spider-Man, you'll like it. I think even if you're not even big into superheroes, you could like this movie. And I thought it was fantastic. Definitely the best comic book movie of the year.